Today's video will be talking more about the type of population interaction among the various members of the population. So, one of the important interaction which we see among the population is predation. And predation is actually a type of interaction in which the larger and the stronger species they consumed the weaker and the smaller species. So over here, one of the species will get the advantage, whereas the other species will be at a loss. And here, when we are talking, the larger and stronger species will consume the weaker and smaller species. So, predation is a very specific type of interaction among the population. Now, the species which is consuming, that is the one which is larger and stronger, will be known as predator, the terms which we are going to use over here. And the weaker and the smaller species will be known as prey. So, this is a kind of relationship which exists between the predator and the prey. Now, when we observe in nature, we find the predators are mostly animals and they are carnivores and herbivores. Carnivores will eat the predators. When we say the carnivores feed on herbivores, and the herbivores again feed on producers, that is the plants. So if you see over here, this is a kind of relationship: carnivores, then the herbivores, and then the producers. And producers are making their own food. Now, it is actually a way of transfer of energy. If you observe closely over here, the producers are capable of making their own food, and hence they generate energy or they produce energy. That's why the name producers. These producers are consumed by herbivores. So again, the transfer of energy is taking place, although we know that there is only 10% transfer, because major loss of energy takes place due to the metabolic activities of the organism that consumes it. Then finally, from the herbivores, it goes to the next level. So we find over here, the predation is actually causing the energy transfer among the members of a population. Therefore, you can understand that it is a very important interaction between the organism. So here we see there is the transfer of energy take place from lower trophic level to the higher trophic level. Now let's talk of the what is the role of predators. That means what or how do these predators act and what is their role. The first is they act as a passage for, or they act as a method of energy transfer. So when we talk of the first role, they act as conduits, we say, conduits for energy transfer. This is the first role, as you can see from here. The second important point is they keep the prey population under control. So they keep the prey population under check or under control. Now, if this is because the predators continuously feed on the prey, and therefore they keep the prey population under a check. Did not do not allow it to grow extensively. There is one example. Now, especially when the exotic species from outside are introduced into a particular habitat, so they won't be facing any competition and there will be no predators, so they can grow rapidly and they can invade the entire area because the predators and there is no competition. Now, how we can check that? Now, for example, open shear, that is the prickly pear cactus, a very common cactus, was introduced into Australia. This is an example. So the open shea, when it was introduced into Australia, since it did not had any competition, the open shea plant grew rapidly, occupying a large geographical area. Now, the population of the cactus needed to be checked. So, a cactus feeding predator, that is a moth, that was Cactoblastus cactorumus. So that is we say a species of Cactoblastus. A species of Cactoblastus was introduced, and that moth actually feeds inside the pads of the open shear, that is the prickly pads. So those pads, it feeds on that Cactoblastus species. It acted, this moth, that is we also call it as cactus moth. This cactus moth actually helped in checking the population of open shear. So it restricted, because over here this is a predator and open shear is a prey. So this keeps a check. The predators keep a check on the population of the prey. The third important point is they help in maintaining species diversity. They help in maintaining species diversity. Now, when we talk of maintaining species diversity, it actually helps in reducing the level of competition among the prey species. Now, for example, in American Pacific coast, there is a starfish that is Physaster. It's a predator species, and when it is a predator, so it consumed all the smaller fishes. But when this was removed, when this species of starfish was removed from that area or that habitat in a particular area as a trial method, nearly around 10 species of invertebrates became extinct within a year due to interspecific competition. So, what happens is that these predators also help in maintaining the species diversity, because they keep continuously feeding on the prey and thereby reducing the level of severe competition. So, predators are very, very important. Also, we have to see that when the predators we are talking, the predators need to be prudent. There is a term used which is prudent. Now, prudent over here, when we try to understand, predators have to be ideal predator. If it is too efficient, or that means if it is too strong, it will it will feed on the prey more, and as a result a reduction in number of prey may take place. So what is there, if over, we say it is over efficient or extra efficient, it will feed more on prey, and the prey number can reduce drastically or may even disappear. Now, this will affect the ecosystem. If the prey is over efficient, the number of prey population can reduce substantially, and over a period of time, if it is not checked, then the prey can become extinct. Now, this is why the predators in nature are prudent. They are Predators are prudent. Now, when we say the word prudent, it means the predators, they eat the prey in such a manner that the prey population continues to survive and is never overexploited. So what do we mean by saying that when we say predators are prudent? That means they consume the prey or they eat the prey in a manner which do not which actually do not which enable them to which enable them we say which enable manner which enable the prey population to survive. Because it is also very important, if the prey population reduces in number drastically or even if it goes extinct over here as we have said, then after a certain period of time the predators itself will not be able to survive because both are dependent on each other. So the predators, since they will not be getting the food, if in the case if they overexploit it, it will cause the final extinction of the predators as well. So the predators are prudent in the sense that they consume or they eat the prey in a manner in which the prey population continues to survive and is not over exploited. Now this is important for the survival of the uh, predators as well. So it's a mutual act. Now, when we talk of the predation, we see in animals. Let us first talk of the adaptations which the species have evolved to fight the predators. So, adaptations in prey. We'll be talking in general to understand what are the adaptations in the prey which is commonly seen. So, first, very common is some of the species show camouflage. Camouflage Camouflage is actually uh just a minute. Adaptation, that is camouflage. Camouflage is they show similar coloration to surroundings so that they remain unnoticed by the predators. So it is also known as camouflage or cryptic coloration, and they blend with the surroundings so that the predator is not able to identify them or notice them easily. Then some insects show mimicry. That means they copy. Example is leaf insect, stick insect. All these therefore are remains because their leaf insect resembles the leaf like structure it has, so it remains unnoticed. Stick insect appears like a stem, dry wooden stem or the stick, therefore it also remains unnoticed by the predator. So there are several adaptations like this which help the organism to fight. Now some of the animals like the dart frogs and all, they show warning coloration. So here we have warning coloration. These are the adaptations which are found mostly in the prey. So over here, this and dart frogs, they have certain kind of coloration and due to which they are avoided by the predators. Also, the taste, that is the butterfly, which is the monarch butterfly, is when it is eaten by the predator does not appear to be very very tasty, and it is because of the chemical which is present in its body. So the butterfly uh, gets this the chemical is developed during the caterpillar stage, and when any predator tries to eat it, it will not eat because the taste is not very good. So there are various mechanisms or adaptations in the prey to fight or to save itself from the uh, predators. Now, when we have seen the adaptations in the case of prey, now the plants, herbivores are the predators. So when we talk of plants, the plants are the prey and herbivores will be the predator. The plants also have shown several adaptations to save itself from the predators. Now, when we see the plants around us, there are several mechanisms or methods which the plants have developed. Now, most of the insects which we find are phytophagous. That means they feed on the plants and other parts of the plants like the caterpillar stage, the larva stage. Most of the insects, they feed on the plant. So the problem is with the plants is they are stationary and they cannot move, so they cannot escape. Therefore, the plants have come up or they have devised over a period of time various mechanism by which they are able to fight against the predators. Now, they can be morphological, they can be chemical development of the chemicals or presence of certain chemicals, or they can be structural modifications due to which the insects will find it difficult to eat them. So, for example, the spines in the case of opuntia, this makes unable like this causes the like insects are not appealed by this. Also the rose, the prick which is having in the rose prickles, that is we call it rose, these are structural modifications. Then the thorns in the bougainvillea, the citrus plant normally has the thorns. So these are various examples of morphological citrus we find, citrus plant. So there are different kinds of these structures which are when these plants are attacked by the insect, they are physically harmed and therefore they will avoid eating these plants. Then the second method is some of the plants produce chemicals. So when we talk of these are the morphological adaptations. Now, the second is certain plants produce chemicals that actually make the herbivores sick when they are consumed. So, what happens is production of chemicals. This is chemical defense, we say. Chemical defense mechanism. So they will produce certain chemicals, and these plants, when they are consumed by the herbivores, they feel sick, and they are that causes there is problem in the digestion, and they interfere with the reproduction or may directly kill them. So there are certain chemicals such as quinine, opium. Example like opium is there. This is one of the common ones. Then quinine. There are many more examples of these chemicals which when consumed by herbivores will make them uncomfortable and therefore they will avoid eating them. Then certain plants are not uh, grazed or they are not eaten because of the smell which is produced. So, smell. They are not pleasantly smell. That means the smell is, we say it does not attract the herbivores or it is quite offensive. The offensive smell is produced, and as a result the predators will avoid eating them. Then there is a plant called as calotropis. That is again an example for this calotropis. This plant produces a chemical called as cardiac glycosides. It produces cardiac glycosides. Now, this actually is not eaten by the herbivores because of the presence of cardiac glycoside, which is highly poisonous. And this chemical actually increases the output force of the heart and decreases its rate of contraction. As a result, the predator that feeds onto it, it's working on the heart, and therefore the name cardiac glycosides. So the predator that feeds on this may eventually die because of the improper effect of the cardiac glycoside on the heart. So there are various chemicals that are being produced by the plants against the herbivores so that they are prevented. These are the adaptations in prey that we have seen. This is in the case of animals we have seen, and this is in the case of plants which we have seen. So these adaptations help the prey to fight against the predators, and at the same time the predators eat the prey or keep the number of the prey population in check. These two mechanisms help the ecosystem to remain well balanced.